Welcome, guys, to the Bailey Banter, episode 59. How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Happy to be back to work. Getting my money.
Spoke you were having this crazy ass Memorial Day cookout. How was the goat?
Yep. The lamb.
The lamb. How was the lamb?
It was lamb. It was good. It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
With the group, we don't have any winners right now because the last month's winner did not.
Yep. June winner did not claim their prize.
They have to claim their prize. So when you see this, your name is called, you've got to claim your prize. You have some people that are like really active in the group and we wanted to give them a shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get to their...
Oh yeah, our 5 top contributors.
Yes. So the first one that we have, number 1, is Yara Eddine. Am I saying her last name right? Eddine?
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
She commented, it's in the hundreds. I mean, she is kicking butt. 5 people that we're gonna call out if they want to do a Bailey Banter with us.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yara's would really be cool because I believe she's in Japan.
Ooh, she lives in Japan or she visiting?
Yeah. No, she's in Japan. You know, she would be a really cool person to have on the banter because she does, I'm not sure what kind, but she does shows and photo shoots and stuff.
Okay, we got to reach out to her. Yara, please come on the banter. We want to get to know you and know more about your amazing life in Japan.
Yeah, and number 2 is, again, she's on here again, and that is CrystalRose Guerrero Martinez. That girl is always posting something. Always.
We love it. We absolutely love it. Number 3 is Sheri Beynon. Sheri
Beynon?
Sheri?
Beynon? I think it's Beynon.
I know last time I said her name, she's like, oh, you pronounced it right. But I'm like, that was the luck of the draw. I'd like to be doing it again is really rare. So we love you, Sheri.
Yes. And then our 4th one is a longtime member as well, again on here, and that is Sandie Grenier.
Sandie. I wonder if she's still writing.
You know what? I wonder if she is too. I forgot that she was a writer.
Yeah.
Because wasn't she supposed to do a banter at one point?
Yes. We need her on the banter.
Because she did. Didn't she send us a story that she had written?
Yeah, she actually shared to the group like a paragraph of the story she was writing, like a little sneak peek. And she's an amazing writer. But I
know Stephen King's a inspiration for her, so it's got to be somewhere along those lines.
Yeah. The last person we're gonna announce is Karen Marie.
Yes.
Super supportive from what I can see.
Yes, she is.
Thank you to the top 5 contributors. We really appreciate you guys. And if you come on to the banter.
Yep. Yeah, you guys are amazing. You guys are what keeps this group going.
Yes.
And keeps the page, flowing.
Yes. Watch the latest Bailey.
Jack the Ripper, part 1. Yes, I did. Yes.
What'd you think about it?
That story's been forever, and to hear different things, but to hear Bailey sit down and actually go through. I mean, she said she saw photos and everything, and that there's so much that she has to do a part 2.
I can't wait
to it,
she did right before that. She did H. Holmes.
Yes, that was, and that one was because at the beginning of it, because a lot of people who are serial killers usually do it for trophies.
Right.
Okay. Holmes was not a trophy killer. He was a money killer. So
Yeah.
all the murders and stuff that he did, he was like a big time scammer before scammers were even a thing.
Right.
Surprised. My best friend, that's her favorite serial killer.
The H.H. Holmes.
Yes. Yeah, she was most intrigued by him. And, you know, his murder castle was in Chicago, but it's been taken down. They tore it down.
I don't blame them, but it would be real interesting if they kept it up and kind of, because that house was like a trap. I mean,
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was like a huge maze in there.
feel that there's a connection between Jack the Ripper and H.H. Holmes.
I do. Now that I was listening to Bailey and she brought it up, listening to her Ripper story, because the way it went with Holmes is he was actually a school teacher at 16. But that was like a frowned upon profession for a man back in the day. Her parents owned a grocery store, and so they got him a job in there. So then in, what was it, 1880, he left the grocery store and they ended up having a baby. So then he left to start medicine. It's like you didn't even have to go to college at that point or something. He was like an apprentice to another doctor.
Right.
Then he ended up going to New Hampshire for medical school. Said that about him. I was trying to find it to go back to see if he ever made it back to England around this time that the Ripper was.
Right.
Because the way the Ripper did the murders, I mean, they were horrific for that, especially back in that day.
Yeah.
The only way that these murders could have been done is somebody had to have some kind of medical training, because the cuts were so precise and they knew exactly where to cut and everything. So then it's like, oh, maybe Holmes was there and maybe he is Ripper. Who knows?
Chicago in 1885. He, as a medical student at the University of Michigan, he stole corpses and used them to make false insurance claims. So he was like a con man.
Oh, he was. He was a big time scam. Ripper, they were saying that there was money for women's wombs. And so, you know, these women were being, you know, mutilated and their body parts taken out. So it's like, okay, was he there doing that? I don't know.
Right. Horrible.
Yeah.
This really is bad. Like, he is bad.
Oh, he is. That Jack the Ripper. Yeah, it's
No,
it
H.H.
was.
Holmes. He's
Him too.
terrible.
Holmes actually murdered his best friend and business partner, and I think a few of his children for insurance fraud. And yeah, I want to say there was like 27 people, and 2 of them were his wives and a stepdaughter.
How, you know what? How do people, that's the one thing I don't understand is how these crazy people always find somebody to marry. How does that happen?
I don't know, because you know what, when she was talking about Holmes, she said that, I mean, because honestly, I mean, the picture that she showed of him, not that bad looking of a man for back in that day.
Right.
But they used to have a nickname for him, and I can't remember it, but it was gross. And they said he smelled and everything. And I'm just like, ew, how does he find all these women then?
I'm trying to look for his nick. Now you got me looking for his nickname. Oh my God.
I don't even want to tell you what she said the word means. She said it was the white smelly, cheesy stuff under a uncircumcised male. I want to say he had three.
Oh, Jesus.
He had three. He had Clara, who was his first wife,
Right.
that he left her and his son in New Hampshire when he went to medical school. And while he was still married to her, he found another wife, and she had a daughter. Because he was having an affair with her. The husband found out, they split up. She came up missing, and so did the little girl. He ended up finding another wife. And then lo and behold, she ended up missing.
Oh my God, ladies, make,
you know, and you couldn't really explain things back then of why, you know, if somebody said, oh, they just up and left, what are you going to do?
Right.
There was no resources and things like there are now.
I collected some interesting facts about Jack the Ripper. So now all the known crimes from Jack the Ripper happened in one slum in London. Whitechapel.
Oh, okay.
All his victims were prostitutes.
Yes.
It was
which was legal
back then.
Yes.
You know, prostitution is legal in the United States too.
Is it really?
It's legal.
I know it is in Nevada.
Open Gangnam Style.
There's 5 murders of Jack the Ripper. They're all linked together. I think definitely Jack the Ripper radio silence in London. I think because he jumped on a ship to America.
Goodbye,
she's got it in my head.
Everybody.
Yeah, no.
I've got to
that
go.
These two could be.
Even if there is no recorded history of him going to Europe, maybe on the black market he was sent out there because he was able to sell bodies. Maybe he had like some type of contract.
Could very well be, because like they said, you know, the murders were done that the person knew where to cut and, you know, to take these. I don't know if she was the last known woman, but the last one that Bailey talked about in the video, was like the worst of them all. I think she was a 25-year-old girl, and he killed her. The only thing that was different with her than the other women was she was killed in her home. All the other women were out on the streets.
Yeah.
Heart was laying there, or liver was laying there, or bowels were laying there. All her body parts were laying on the side of her, and then they skinned her.
Yeah. Remember that movie From Hell with Johnny Depp? From Hell is actually Jack the Ripper's last letter to police.
He was the one doing the Ripper or something, or playing that part of the killer.
No, he was the detective.
No? Oh, was he?
Yeah, and it was him and Heather Graham was the prostitute. And it was based on the letter of, so there are a couple of letters that Jack the Ripper sent. The first one, I think Bailey went over, which was called like the boss, dear boss or whatever.
Right.
And the last letter he sent was entitled From Hell. And that was the letter he left after he did that to Mary, where he just, and there's a picture of it. Like he opened her up.
Yeah.
And spread, like you could see the skin, like open. What he did to that poor woman, it was just terrible. It was terrible.
What I don't understand in that. I mean, I could see more so in today's age, but what possessed or made them do something like that back in that day? What would give them the knowledge or whatever to do something like that?
Yeah. Honestly, my very irrational opinion, I think earlier on in the medical field, I think there wasn't enough regulation, and people could do things like have an apprenticeship and become a doctor, or be known in the community with, you know, with like herbs and stuff and become a doctor. And I think it left a lot of room to be sadistic.
Yeah.
for somebody with a serial killer, like just curiosity to just, kind of mantle a human body and cut them up and see how it works and what makes it tick. I think it kind of like was a breeding ground for people with really morbid curiosities to sit there and be like, yeah, I could do this. Oh, there's a market for kidneys. Oh, I can cut up a person and get those kidneys out. Like, I think it wasn't right. It wasn't regulated. It wasn't
right
at all. So
people back in the 1800s were nuts.
They were
freaking nuts. They were crazy ass people.
But still crazy, but we hide it better.
Exactly.
A poll in the group of if you think Jack the Ripper is H.H. Holmes, or do you think Jack the Ripper ever got to America? I think he did. I definitely think.
That's just so weird that it just went for like a year span. I mean, somebody who's that morbid and sadistic, why would, and not get caught and taunt the police? How, I just don't see why they would all of a sudden stop if they didn't go to America or reach some fate of their own, for all the nasty shit they did.
He had powerful friends in the right places, and they sent him over to London to do some reconnaissance work and get some organs back or do something. Maybe he had the right friends that got him out when he needed to get out. And he had a little too much fun, and they were like, oh, no, dude, you're writing letters to the police. Come back home. We need you back home.
Right? Don't they have a museum of him?
Jack the Ripper?
Uh-huh. Isn't there something? Yeah.
Let me Google it. Wait a minute. Museum. There is one. There's a Jack the Ripper museum in London.
Wow.
Looks really fucking scary.
I bet.
They have the room where he did that to his last victim all set up.
Are you serious?
Oh my Lord. We gotta go.
Not that she keeps talking about it. I swear to God. I'm starting to believe that it could possibly have been him. Tell me, especially in this day and age, that you guys can't figure out who this guy was.
Or maybe they can't figure it out because the people involved don't want it to be figured out. I still think he probably works with somebody that was bigger, like, was able to protect him. Maybe he had maybe the police, some of the police were crooked enough to be in on it. Because I know that back then, like, police thought the prostitution issue was like, a scar on the city. Like, I could see somebody powerful enough to be like, either go do this, bring back some body parts, we'll get you out, but this is the perfect city to do it in because you have more than enough women that will give you the time of day. You just got to pay them, and then you have access to them.
Right. And that's probably be another reason why. I mean, I know they investigated it, but probably didn't investigate it as much as they should have.
Right.
Just for the simple fact that they were prostitutes.
Right. So you're investigating an area. The area does not trust you. You're not a friend of these women. They're not going to tell you anything.
Right.
So yeah, it was a between a rock and a hard place for
I know she had said that there were some witnesses and they were all like, oh, well, it was this size man with a mustache that wore a bolero. Who didn't back then?
Right. And he was just beating his wife. That's understand. It happens all the time. Back then it was accepted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jack the Ripper could not exist today. We'd beat the shit out of him.
Oh, you ain't lying. Commit crimes, don't have a cell phone.
Don't have a cell phone. Oh God, we can't say that.
Or
now
a computer.
We're suspects. They come looking at the Suspish squad. Listen, mum's the word.
Yeah, hello. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't know what you're talking about. He went that away. Well, we will see you on the next Bailey Banter.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.